All right, what's going on? This is the Indus Valley civilizations. Let me get set up. All right. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Let's get this out the way. Yeah, we'll put this in perspective. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. What's going on? What's going on? I've been looking at mics and gears all day. I can get y'all a stream. Now, we're going to look at the Indus Valley. This is part of the Black History, not Black History, I mean, realhistory.com again by my boy, the scholar over here. They probably did some updates. We're going to do 2 and 3 today. It's only got 3 parts. And we'll see what happens in the stream. Okay, Indus Valley civilizations, Harpra, Mahanduro, and that's like in India, right up in here. This is when we talk about the East Indians and things like that up in this area. Sometime around 6000 BCE, a nomadic herding people who some now think to be Dravidians settled into the villages in the mountainous region just west of the Indus River. There they grew barley and wheat. Harvesting is using sickles with flint blades. They live in small houses built with adobe bricks. After about 5000 BCE, the climate in their region changed, bringing more rainfall, which apparently enabled them to grow more food. For they grew in a population, they began decimating the sheep, goats, and cows, and the water buffalo. Okay, so we can see right here, they got you got the pictures, and here's the burial of a woman, infant, and Harpera. I want to say Harapapa right in here. You see, they found little identials, but we're going to go to the second one in a minute. Okay, molded tablets showing a man spreading a water buffalo with 1 foot pressing the head down and one arm holding the tip of a horn. A Garelia or crocodile is depicted above the sacrifice scene and figure seated in a yogic position wearing a hornet headdress is to the right. Wow. Yep, it was on that bullshit, I guess. 3-sided molded tablet. The side shows a flat bottom boat with the central hut that has leafly found. At the top of the 2 poles, 2 birds sit on the deck, and a large double rudder extends from the rear of the boat. On the second side is a snouted nose garale. It's a garale. It means crocodile with a fish in its mouth. But the third side has 8 symbols of the Indus script. Okay. Then after 4000 BCE, they began to trade with the distant areas in Central Asia, areas west of Khyber Pass. They also began using bronze and other metals. In time of the total area of Indus civilization began larger than that of the old kingdom of Egypt. Their cities were characterized by buildings of elaborate architecture constructed of fired brick with sewage systems and paved streets. So what we got here is you got your little pieces of the people, molded tablets showing a female deity battling 2 tigers standing above an elephant. A single Indus script depicting a spooked wheel is above the head of the deity. Yeah. So, okay, 2 tigers is showing you right here. They talk about in the deity and the spook wheel right up in here. The head of the deity. Female figure with a headdress and jewelry. Harpera. It's a Harpera or something like that. And it's the deity right here. 2600 and 1900 BCE. And female figure headdress, jewelry, Harpera, 2600 to 1900 BCE. The same deity. 2 different deities of the Harpera. Okay, we're going to get into number 2. Okay, typical of these large planet cities is Mohenjo-Daro. which along with its great buildings had had city streets laid out in a grid. The city is thought to have housed roughly 50,000 people and had a granary, baths, and assembled halls and towers. But the city was divided into two parts. But the west of the city, there stood a citadel surrounded by a wall. Aerial view of the partially evacuated Indus Valley city known as Mohenjo-Daro. Mount of the Dead, real name unknown, circa 3000 BCE. And here you go. That's where the civilization used to live. It's desolate right now. But the citadel, the area of the city was built on the top of the mountain. The bricks amount 12 meters high. A large staircase ran up this side of this mount. Several large buildings and the structures on the Citadel Mount suggested that this area may have been used for public gatherings, religious activities, or important administrative activities, as well as defense. In the 2nd century BC, a stupa, a dome-shaped structure serving as a Buddhist shrine, was built on top of this mound. Yeah, we got it right here. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see it? Mohenjo-Daro view of the Citadel fortress, protecting the town, seen from the lower town. You see that? That's the whole thing right here. So yeah, Indus Valley. The Citadel, including the elaborate tank of the bath created with the fine quality brick and the sewer drains. This area was surrounded by the Verendra. Yeah, Vendrada. Also located here was a giant granary, a large residential structure, and at least two idled assembled halls. To the east of the citadel was Lower City, laid out in a grid pattern, but the streets were straight and were drained to keep the area sanitary. Mohenjo-Daro had a building with an underground furnace, dressing rooms, suggesting bathing was done in heated pools. As in the modern day Hindu temples, the pool of the city used very little stone in their construction. They prefer bricks, two types of bricks, mainly fired bricks and wood bricks, which were created by using burnt wood ash. At Mohenjo-Daro, archaeologists have found several large platforms, foundations made out of brick. Column base and shadow holes still exist in platforms, suggesting that they were meant to hold wooden columns or supports. However, the walls of these buildings do not survive, since the brick walls usually do survive. Many archaeologists now believe that some of the largest buildings at the Mohenjo-Daro was probably built out of wood. Yeah. Yeah, so the toy ox of the water buffalo down. So, and then you got from Hopera and all those things like that. So yeah, man. You go up in here, Indus Valley, bronze model, chariot drawn by bulls, Damian Bad or something like that right here. You got this right here. And you got some statues. So yeah, this is going to be pretty interesting right here. This little stream right here. Mohenjo-Daro priest king, 2600 BCE. Mohenjo-Daro terracotta statue right here. Yeah, I used to get in this stuff like years ago. I should have did a piece on this, but I'm glad I did a stream on it, so y'all can look and see. They use a timber to create the flat roofs of their buildings, but then a brick stairwells leading to the roofs of many houses, suggesting that roofs were used as recreational areas. As in early Anatolia, houses were of various sizes. Some were small, others were large with interior courtyards, indoor bathrooms. Several craftsman workshops have been founded, such as metalworking, carpentry, and shell working. And here's the Hopera, 2300 BCE. This little bus, and the same thing, 2300 BCE. These are deities and things like that, other people. Defensively, Mohenjo-Daro well fortified city, though it did not have city walls, but it did have towers to the west of the main settlement, defense fortifications to the south. These fortifications taken into consideration as well as a comparison to the Hapara ruins to the northeast led to the conclusion that perhaps Mohenjo-daro was administrative center. Both Hapara and Mohenjo-daro shared relatively the same architectural layout. Hapara is less well preserved due to early site defilement and were generally not heavily fortified like other Indus Valley sites. It is obvious from the identical city layouts of all Indus sites that there was some kind of political or administrative centrality, however, that extended functioning. Even in the place and type of administrative center remains unclear. Lothal situated at the head of the Gulf of the Kambay in Gurajat. Here of archaeologists have found large warehouse ready to hold goods for export. Now, as you can see, there's the artist talking about this right here, the Lothal, or what you want to call it right here. That's they little pictures of it. And my boy found this. Yeah, this black scholar then did his research. I've been looking at this stuff for like 9 years. He upgraded his site. So yeah, man. Let's see right here. We in the building. So we got this on the wraps. So yeah, appreciate the share, DS1. And yeah, man, like I'm not even worried what's going on here in these pictures because this is something I want to bring to y'all, like a little topic. Just discuss that the history of it. I should have covered this years ago, but I didn't. That's another piece to the puzzle to learn. So things like that. So we're going to go into it again. Okay, the people of Mohenjo-daro, Hapara, and the other cities shared the sophisticated systems of weights and measures, used arithmetic with decimals, and had written language that was partly phonetic and partly ideographic. And the Indus people also utilized seals of signature and pictorial presentations, as did to the people to the northwest in Elam and Sumer. Indus Valley people carried on active trade relations with the Middle East in gold, copper, utensils, lapis, lazuli, ivory, beads, and some precious stones. Gold, agate ornaments right here. Gold agate ornaments right here. Look at them. Ain't they beautiful? Like they have. Yeah, that's right here. And then there's some more cooking pots, nasharo, and there's the copper. You know, it shows you the whole thing and right in here. Yeah, in those region was a mystic. They use a unicorn, cattle, elephants, and other animals to represent their gods, but they're seemingly originators of the unicorn. And the exact meaning of a horned horse is unknown. But the Indus seals are amulets addressed to the gods and were worn on the body. In the seal below, we have a depiction of the deity. In this case, the Maal as a unicorn, and then the votivit or inscription was written above the deity in Harparian script. But the manager under in the head of Maal is made of several Indus signs. It reads Pu Ipa, or flourishing conditions, though disturbed. So here we go. Here's their deity right here, the unicorn seal of Hapara. And there's one right here, Mohenjo-daro rhinoceros right here. And there's some deities of animals they use. So they use the bull seal. Bull was a popular seal. So sometimes between 1,800 1,700 BCE, the civilization on the Indus plain all but vanished. What befell these people is unknown. One suspect cause is a shift in the Indus River. Another is huge ruins, earthquakes. Still another is Monumental flooding of the rivers, flooding that would explain in thick layers of the silt, dirty feet above the level of the river. At at the site of Mohenjo-daro, of course, these are unsubstantial theories. No one knows what really caused the people to leave. Later, people of a different culture inhabited some of the abandoned cities, and what of archaeologists is called a squatter period. Yeah, it's called a squatter period. And here we go. Mohenjo-daro dancing girl, 2500 BCE. That's the dancing girl statue. And here we go. Then the squatters also disappeared. Careful note should be made that the only people and culture of the valley vanished. Indus Valley civilization was the largest of its time and covered a vast territory. If effectively extended to the north, Himalayas east to what is now Vietnam. But because of the Aryan invasion or migration, which subsequently in those history was lost. Additionally, we should keep in mind that the Aryans were illiterate nomads. The Rig Veda was written 600 years after they have arrived. So whoever was that kept civilization alive in India during the convulsively yeah, convulsively convulsive period, whatever you want to call it, it couldn't have been them. Now, surviving remnants of the Indus Valley people in Southeast Asia will be dealt with later. Yeah, we're gonna deal with that later. They will say right in here. Okay, knowledge of the Mohenjo-daro civilization died until archaeologists discovered evidence of the civilization in the 20th century. As to where these people went, no one for sure. Some believe that they went on to the southern India. Some surely did, but one guess is many of the Indus Valley people went to the north, into the Elam and Sumer to rejoin their former group. This scenario would explain the somewhat sudden appearance of the Medes and the Persians in Elam, as well as other similar groups in Eastern Anatolia. I discussed the Elam stream. Check that out. This is before I even have a decent equipment and things like that. So, yeah, check that stream out. And it's a decent stream. I talked about it and I discussed that period and things like that. I'm gonna give y'all this Indus Valley link. I'm gonna put it in the chat. So I'm gonna see what's going on there and shouts out everybody and things like that. So I know people are gonna be into a long one. Let's see, paste. I don't know who. Yeah, it's kind of empty right now, so we're good. We're all good here. This ain't gonna be much of a drag. So yeah, I'm going to copy. I'm gonna hit this right quick. It's getting dark out right now, so we're gonna paste it for a minute. Yeah, I'll put this in a minute. Okay. Oh, back over here. Yeah. I'm gonna show you something. Hold on. We talked about Elam probably last week, last month, or something like that. Yeah, check that video out when we talked about it. Okay, Dravidian albinos. Here we go. We're going to get into it. When the last left the Indus Valley civilization, there has been created about 1,800 and 1,700 BCE, perhaps because of some unknown natural disaster. If the rainfall declined in Indus region between 1,800 and 1800 and 1700 BCE. Then around 1500 BCE, increase again, making the Indus plain better able to support life. It was unknown. It was between 1500 to 1200 BCE that the Dravidian albinos who have originally migrated from Africa into India then continued north into Central Asia to escape the burning sunshine found at the lower latitudes, return to India. This is what the people look like. Call them albinos, Dravidians, and things like that. Okay. They're showing the pictures of the modern people right now. So yeah, Sri Lankan albino man at the market of Colombo. Yeah, say he's white and all this stuff. Albino schoolgirl. Yeah, yeah. Telling they white Dravidians and all that. Yeah, they in India like that. It's a lot of 'em. Yeah, her albino child and things like that. Pakistani albino. Yeah, similar to Africa. Albino symptoms make myoclonic staph. Signs of albinos are usually, but not always, apparent in person's skin, hair, or eye color. However, all people with disordered experience vision problems. Yeah, I ain't gonna get into that. We already know about that. Y'all can read that at your own time. Okay, here's the people. Yeah, they're saying albino people migrate or people that mix took the cultures. You already know what happened. We're gonna get into it. No one knows why the albinos left Central Asia. Perhaps it was some natural disaster, or perhaps they had overpopulated the sparse land, the, um, the sparse of land, and now found it difficult to acquire enough food there. Whatever the cause, within the next 2,000 years, 1,500 BC to 500 CE, all the millions of albinos, Caucasians, would abandon Central Asia and move to India and Europe, which is facts. Which is facts, according to this guy. Yes, it's facts. Today, the Uyghurs, a Turkic ethnic group who live primarily in the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region in the People's Republic of China, are the only Caucasians still living in Eastern and Central Asia. Many are actually now mixed race. Yeah, they're mixed race. A lot of the Chinese people you see today are mixed race. They're mixed with the albinos and things like that nature. What you got today is you got a bunch of people that lives in these regions. See, once upon a time, the original peoples of the Indus Valley is um is really the darker races. So what you have is you got people that deal with this type of orders or whatever, but no diss to the people or anything. But I'm just saying the culture is changed. These are the modern people in these lands right now. These are the people that come from in modern China right now. Those people used to live in Central Asia. They just migrated to Eastern Central Asia. They came from places I don't know what Anatolia and all this stuff. But Indus Valley is a it's an area that they took. So it's a lot of different races, different cultures. Okay, uh, the atmosphere was changing. So this is getting into it. Why the culture is the way it is now. Some of it's lost, some of them got wiped out. We don't know. They're still doing research on it. So it is also not known why they would hazard a return to the lands that originally founded inhospitable because of the intense sunshine, perhaps over the tens of thousands of years that they spent in Central Asia. They were able to acquire fixed degree of melanation through crossbreeding with the blacks in China, Eastern Europe, who surrounded them. See the Eastern Europe and China pages. See, I already did a stream on Eastern Europe and China. I did a stream on that. Eastern Europe and China. I'm gonna try to pull it up on my side. I'm gonna tell you this is before I even had the proper equipment for this stream. So don't you worry. Um, don't you worry. So I know people is going into it, you know, and that's just what's going on. So you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just like I'm just like over here. So I'm gonna look over here right now. I know people is going in, but yeah, man. Okay, we'll see who's up in here. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Because I know people love drama and shit. I'm just gonna go like that. Yeah. See what's going on. Yeah. Yeah, I know my boy is on right now. Yeah. Yeah, cause Art will be on later. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna try to find that video. When we're talking about a stream that I did. We got people. Let's talk about the Europe. I did that stream. See, I told you about Elon. It's called Dark History. It was on July 29th. Check that out. What I talked about, the first part of the Indus Valley. Talk about the Elon Persian. I broke that down. It's got decent views, but go ahead and watch it if y'all new to the channel, whatever. Let's see. Let's see. What did I did? I think I did Europe. Hold on. I did part of that. So I did Canaan, Europe. That was in July. Let me check. Let me check one of the streams that I did because normally I say evergreen content. Yeah, Eastern European history. Okay, July 14th. Check that one out. I did that one about China and Europe. And I mentioned that. I meant China. Okay. The history of dark culture in Eastern Europe, China, and Anatolia. I did that. It's a 2-hour stream. Check that out. Because what I'm talking about right here is Eastern. It said with the Eastern Europe who surrounded them, see the black. Okay, I did a stream on that, and it's called Eastern Europe history. Check that out. It's on my channel. It's a 2-hour, 57 minutes and 59 minutes. 2 hours, 57 minutes and 59 seconds. I did that, right? It's got least views. I was talking about Eastern Europe, rest of the way. It's a long one. Talked about China, and then I talk about Anatolia. Because what I was doing is tie that all in like I did the Indus Valley. It's all connected to that. So yeah, that's why I wanted to do this one because of that and see how they all line up. So I was on the astrology mode of all of July, right? Because I was doing different streams and different times, but I sprinkled some history in there, and there. So yeah, it was on the 14th of July. And the one I did with the Persians and Medes, I knew I was going to do that one because I knew I was going to do that one on the 29th of July. Check that one as well. And that's a 2-hour and 29 minutes and 10-second stream. You can check those both out. And what I just said, check them out because you may never know. Because when I'm doing this, it ties in what I'm saying right now. Because this may be one of the things that you come in and do. Because a lot of times, what's going to happen is you do what you got to do. So yeah, and I'm not even tripping right now. So you know what I mean. I'm gonna get back on topic. So let's get into it. So yeah, what's going on? A lot of chips. Salute. So we're gonna get into it right here. So yeah, I'm just going to yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get into it for a minute. All right. Let's get into it. Cause Central Asian plains, we're gonna get into it, and this is where it gets tricky. Okay. Show you a picture of the horse drinking. Okay. Unlike the normally pigmented, I'm gonna read this again. Unlike their normally pigmented brethren who stay behind in India, they have not evolved into civilized people. but they have not developed written language, technology, or cities. They return to India as an illiterate, pastoral people now, called Aryans or Aryans, like Arian or Aryan, Aryans. These are darker skinned people, by the way. They're not light skinned. Just a cross reference. They migrated from the steepy lands of Central Asia through what is now Afghanistan. See, we're talking about Afghanistan and India. We're talking about up in this area. That's the Indus Valley. Now we're getting into the heart of it. Down, this is the cutoff to what you call connected to Africa, the Asia part. We'll get in that in a second. Down through the Khyber Pass onto the sparsely populated Indus Plain. But the Khyber Pass altitude, 1,770 meters or 3,510 feet, is a mountain pass to the links of the Pakistan and Afghanistan. So, yeah, I don't like stream hoppers. Okay, the Aryan invasion. Indians, particularly Hindus, have always been rather schizoid on the subject of the Aryan invasion theory. Many argue that Aryans came as migrants, not as invaders. Of course, because Hindus are mainly the mulattoes of Dravidians. Yeah, let's read this again. And of course, because Hindus are mainly the mulattoes of Dravidians and Aryans, they feel a little loyalty to both. See, this is where it gets interesting right here. But here, the fact that the Aryan invasion, whether it be migration or invasion, is of no consequence to us. Our interest is establishing that Aryans and Dravidians, and by extension, Europeans and Dravidians, are the same people genetically. This is possible because even though their respective skin colors are very different, that difference is attributable to albinism. A genetic defect does not affect the general genetic makeup of those so afflicted. Thus, the albino child of the black Dravidian father with Y DNA R1 will still also have Y DNA R1 too. It's just that the child would also have the defective P gene, which robs the body of the ability to make sufficient melanin to protect itself from the sun. As the case with these body albinos or of Pakistan below, noted their pigment family members in the back. Yeah, you see it in the back. And then here you go. Here's the people. This is common on this website. They're going to talk about the albinos in these cultures, which they look Caucasian or white. You know what I'm saying? What you see today. Also note that the Indian albinos above match perfectly to Roman historical Cornelius Tacitus 56 to 118 CE description of Germanic migrants in Europe. See, this is where all the German people come from, Germanic tribes. They look like this. And they have dark pigment people in their family too. Yeah, this is pretty normal around the world now. That's why a lot of people are confused. And the German books, the albinos below, studies Indian genetics. I'm not going to get into that. That's a waste. It's too much reading and silliness. But we're getting to the Aryans. We're not going to get into the albinos. Y'all can read that on your own. And I'll give you the link soon as I read this part, the Aryans. Okay. Okay, the Aryans, scientific terms we use today were created by the albinos. They just love to confuse and bamboozle us with their usage. Here are some of their words dealing with their first homeland outside of Africa, India specifically. These are mostly Google definitions. Okay. Dravidian in British English, Dravidian, the member of one of the Aboriginal races of India, pushed south by the Indo-Europeans, Central Asia, and albinos, now mixed with them. And a family language was spoken in the South Central India and Sri Lanka, including Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu, and Kannada, and Gandhi. Hinduism was originally called Sanatana Dharma, which means righteous forever. The Persians who invaded India in the 6th century BCE gave Hinduism its name from the root word Indus. What we talking about? We talking about Hindus, people. A Hindu is a person who believes in the religion called Hinduism. Many Hindus live in India. Use the term Hindu to talk about someone who follows the teachings and the practice of Hinduism or who has a cultural connection to Hinduism. And also, Hinduism is part of asceticism as well. It's a black pill like religion, but that's a whole nother topic. I just did a series on asceticism on two of them, two streams, by the way. What does the prefix Hindu mean? Of course, pertaining into India from Greek Indo, India, see India. Indo-Europeans are people genetically related to Indians. Albino Europeans are albino Indians who invaded Europe from Central Asia, the place where the acquired numbers to become a race through the process of continuous living, severe inbreeding. Circa 1200 BCE, they re-entered India in circa 1500 BCE. The Sanskrit, an ancient language of India, which the Hindu scriptures and classical Indian epic poems are written from, which of many northern Indic language are derived. Aryan is a term which was originally used as self-designation by Indo-Iranian or Iranian peoples in ancient times. But the idea of being an Aryan was religious, cultural, and linguistic, not racial. Interesting. Note that this used the word of Aryan by the Black King of Persia, King Darius I, Darius the Great, 522 and 486 BCE. The inscriptions of the Nashquish I Rustrum, inscriptions on the south face steep ridge to the north of Persepolis. Darius the Great right here. I talked about Darius in the Elam history, by the way. If y'all want to check that stream out, I told you it was on the 29th of July. Check that out. I talked about Darius the Great and Xerxes and guys like that, and talk about the Battle of the Thermopylae in a bits and piece. Okay, I think it's in 2 Kings 8 and 15. I am Darius the Great King, the King of Kings, King of the countries containing all kinds of men. King in the great earth, far and wide, son of Histopes, or what do you want to call him, or Achaemenid, a Persian, son of Persian, and Aryan, having Aryan lineage. He said he had Aryan lineage. Interesting. Rigveda, Sanskrit, knowledge of verses, also spelled Gavita, the oldest of the sacred books of Hinduism, composed in ancient form of Sanskrit about 1500 BCE in what is now the Punjabi region of India and Pakistan, and it consists of collections of 1,000 to 28 poems grouped into 10 circles, mandalas, and generally agreed that was the last books were created middle books of the Rigveda, and then preserved, originally performed and written down 300 BCE C Veda. Okay, so we're going to read the Rig right here. Invented in 1776 from Sanskrit, praise hymn, spoken stanza, literally brightness. Okay, Veda, the most ancient Hindu scriptures, are written in early Sanskrit, containing hymns, philosophy, guidance on a ritual for the priests of the Vedic religion, believed to have been directly revealed to seers among the early Aryans in India, and preserved by oral traditions. To the four chief collections are the Rig Veda, Same Veda, and Yajur and Veda, and Athra Veda. The Sanskrit word is Arya, is a surname and a masculine area and feminine. Hindu given a name significant signifying honorable in Iran, and its popular masculine given name and popular surname in Indonesia area is also commonly used as a masculine given name, usually in Java and Bali and other places, generally meaning noble ones. Yeah, we're talking about East Indians in this culture right here, half of Indus Valley. Yeah. Aryan race meaning. The Aryan race is a historically race concept which emerged in the late 19th century. 19th century described people of Indo-European heritage as a racial grouping. This is a very good example of albinos after usurpation being so eager to take over all the things black that they don't even take time to understand what it actually means. The master race is a concept in Nazi ideology, which the putative Nordic or Aryan races, predominantly among Germans and other northern European peoples, are deemed to the highest in the racial hierarchy. Members of this alleged master race were referred to as the Hermitian, the master humans, they would say. The Nazi theorist Alfred Rosenberg. He's a EW, Edomite. Let's read that again. Nazi theorist Alfred Rosenberg. We ain't gonna get into that. Believed that the Nordic race was descended from the Proto Aryans, who he believed had prehistorically dwelt on the North German plain, may ultimately have originated on the lost continent of Atlantis. The Nazis declared that the Nordics, now revered to as the Germanic peoples, or Aryans, as they sometimes call them, were superior to all other races. As to Alfred Rosenberg, after the years of research, he said I'll say the Jewish journalists, no shots at them, Edomites, Franz Suchwig published papers accusing Rosenberg of having no drop of German blood flowing in his veins, and Swiswell wrote that among the Rosenberg's ancestors were only Lavatains, Jews, Mongols, and French. Francois was arrested and deported. Wow. It's too much history. No hate to the people, but no shots on this channel. I know Esau don't like it, but who cares? I call him Esau. As the final joke, Adolf Hitler, best known the expounded of this albino silliness, is genetically more recent a black man than most other Europeans. He is of they try to say the African, haplogroup, all that. He's got a little black blood, but he's mixed with them too. The EWs, we call the Edomites over here. I know people call them Jews or whatever. He's part as well. He's a mix between the two. But don't let them tell you that in history books, folks. But it's the truth. The truth is right here. I know they're gonna hate. No shots at the people though. This is all teaching, educational purposes right here. We need to know because we're gonna tread boundaries. Europeans and Indians divided or united by DNA. June 16th, Rakishin, Krishna, Shimya, Aryan albino, Indian, mulatto, Hindu. Yeah, this is common. War was crucible, anti-racism. Yeah, y'all can read this. This is a long read. I'm not going to waste my energy on that. Rigavita, exceptions of the wiki. Yeah, this is what the people look like. Yeah, this is, I'm going to get into the Aryans right here. The albino evidence, description, black people. Here's the Dravidian people of the southern India. That's what they look like. This is Dravidians, by the way. I know people don't like the looks of them, but okay. But that's Dravidian people. I forget they were called the Untouchables. That's what the Dravidians are known. I mean, their name means the Untouchables. That's a rough group, by the way. I mean, they live in India. The Aryans settling. Yeah, let's read this. With the Aryans settling alongside, these are the original Aryans, by the way. The Aryans peoples. They're called Dravidians today, but they're the originals. They would look like this, they would say, in ancient times. So it's a long story, but these are some rough people. Don't underestimate them. I heard a lot of stories about them. There's no shots, no hate to each race is on this thing, but they some rough people. But they're actually, some people say they're cool sometimes, but they can be rough if you make them mad or whatever. But all I know is They kept their culture intact. I give them that. But you don't see them on TV. You don't see them on TV. They don't talk about this stuff. This is hidden for certain news stations. But yeah, let's stick with it. With the Aryan setting alongside local peoples, complex hierarchy of classes developed that would be called castes. See, a part of the caste system. At the top of this class ranking was priests and their entire families, the Brahmins. Also, the top where the warriors, aristocrats, the castratrices, whose job was to practice constantly for combat. Neither the Brahmins nor the castratrices conceded superiority to other, but they agreed that the other classes were lower than they. The first of these lower classes was the Vaishyas and their families. The class were Aryans who tended the cattle and served the Brahmins, and the Castritrias in orders, ways in the middle class. The lowest class was the conquered blacks. They were called the Shudras. But the Aryans made these four classifications a part of their mythology. The four groups, it was claimed, and came from the body of the god of Parajat, something like that. Okay. The Brahmins and from the god's mouth, the warriors from the god's arms, 10 of the cattle from his legs, and Sundras from his feet. Told you they some rough people, but give them time, I haven't met one of them. I think some of them do live in India, but they're in the outskirts. But they're kind of like these tribal people you see in Africa. But just be careful. Those people are strong. The males are. I mean, the females are too. But they got some warlike tendencies though. But their culture goes ancient. Okay. These are the Indus people. We're talking about Dravidians right now. They call themselves the Untouchables. They ain't no joke. It's very structured. So you SYSBM dudes want to hit that, good luck to you. You ain't gonna last over there. They don't play. I think a lot of Sri Lankans, the originals, they're still dark, look like the Dravidians. Well, I think they're Dravidians too. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I'm just saying they have a caste system as well. See, when you get in these cultures, this is not complex. This is what you got left. It's no hate. This is just educational, but I'm telling you, just be careful in these countries. I don't know what the C virus is doing to the rest of the world. Just be careful. India is no joke. That is a divided country. I do know that. I used to serve an Indian customer, and they said, yeah, that's a divided country. You just got to be careful what you look for. This is where the heart of it. They don't show you on the news. Okay. In the beginning, the class system was less rigid than it would be centuries later. People from different classes could dine together. See, let's read this. A man from non-Brahmin family still become a priest, therefore a Brahmin, and although marriage within one's own class was preferred, there was no absolute restrictions against marrying people from different class. See, they're structured like that. They come to America, it don't matter. They put you in one group. By around 700 and 600 BCE, the migration of the Aryans had ended. With their new success in agriculture, but the Aryans increased in number. They began to create cities, and Aryan traders, merchants, and landlords appeared, as did money. Lending. Aryans began trading with Arabia. Yep, Arabs, Arabia, and then the great empire of the Assyrians. I talked about this recently. The Assyrians and all that in Egypt and all that. Yeah, I talked about that in Anatolia and all that. I talked about the Assyrians and cultures. I talked about it in Elam. Watch the Elam history in the stream. I talked about the Assyrians as well. Yeah, it's a rough history, man. And the Medes and all that. Yeah. In the 600 BCE, India began trading with China, the Malay Peninsula, and the islands of what is now Indonesia and the Philippines. That's what we're talking about. Damn, what this Pinterest like off here. All right, the peninsula. What is now, yeah. By 600 BCE, the numerous of cities have arisen in northern India, the cities with fortifications, moats, and ramparts in response to the dangers of war. In Northern India, along with Ganges rivers, 16 different kingdoms had merged. Over time, a mixed development between the nomadic religion of the Aryans and the logical religions of the conquered. Conquered this mix came with Aryan males marrying non-Aryan females, and it came with some among the conquered, accepting the religion of their conquerors, much as Amerindians in the Americas, like the American Indians. That's so true. Accept the religion of their Christian conquerors. That is so true. And that happened all over the Americas. Even the Jesuits came and decimated the indigenous people. Yeah, mixed race Hindus. These are the modern Hindus right now. The originals, they look like the Dravidians, but here's what they're showing you what they look like now. This is now. Yeah, a lot of them mixed up. She's a little lighter. This is normal. I'm not mad, no hate. I'm just showing you the evidence, and that's what it is. Northern Indian family. This is common now. This is what. Okay, I'll give you an example. This is what you see in Al Jazeera. This is what you see in RT News. These are the people that be talking in as journalists, analysts, talking heads, and podcasters in that country, right? This is what you get. This is what you get. And these are the current peoples today. There's no hate. This is what it is. And this is the modern people. So we got to deal with that. See, the Dravidians are a lower class. This is what, if you want to say Aryans and Dravidians, Aryans, they're really the same people. That's what they look like back in the day. But the darker races, I think the rest of them got wiped out, mixed in, and conquered. You know how that goes. And that's it. Southern Indian man, he looks like a Dravidian. Northern Indian man's mixed. You already know he's a ski. So the cultures are blend in. So it's no really racism. It's kind of like America in a way. Let's just say, and the reason they're allied with us, it makes sense because we got similar cultures. I mean, I'm not gonna get into it in the AJHG. Yeah, talks about all that. But these are the people you see on RT and Al Jazeera as your analysts, and it's no hate at them, but it's the culture. You got to accept that. That's just what it is. And let's talk about Hinduism right quick. And this is part of it. Hinduism and these people, based off those people. So, yeah, India's blend of Aryan and local religions became known as Hinduism, a word derived from Aryan word Sindhu. The name the Aryans gave the Indus River, the Hindu religion ranged from veneration and tradition, Aryan gods, by urban intellectuals to worship of a diversity of local, rural, and agricultural deities. Generally, Hinduism is the conviction that the soul or self, Atman, is a subject by samsara, the transmigration through many forms of incarnation. Held together with this belief is another, that of Karman, which says that the self carries with it the burden of his past actions, which conditions are the forms of its future incarnations. As long as the style of the mistakes, this phenomenal world for reality and clings to existence in it. It's doomed to suffer endless births and deaths. But the various Indians and cults, philosophical systems offer ways to which to attain maskia or muski release or liberation from the misery of subjugation to an inexorable process of cosmic time. Basic liberations consist of the soul's effective comprehension of essential unity with Brahman, supreme Atman, or essence of reality. It's emerging with it. Most of the ways by which the goal may be attained require in self-effort, in mastering meditation and techniques, and living an aesthetic life. But in the devotion of Bhakti cults associated with Vishnu or Vishnu, Vishnu and Siva, like Siva, or they call Shiva, Vishnu and Shiva, Vishnu and Shiva, As an intense personal devotion to the deity conquered is believed to earn divine and aid to salvation. Also, Genocism next to Indus page. So we got it right here in these deities, right? Here's going right here. You see it. This common. You see this a lot in the Hindu culture, India, 1000 CE, 1000 CE. Yep, the Shiva. So yeah, the culture is kind of, the deity. Vishnu, that's the other deities, is one of the principles of Hindu deities worship as the protector, preserver of the world, and restorer of Dharma, moral order. Vishnu, like Shiva, the other major god of Hinduism, is a syncretic personality who combines many lesser cult figures and local heroes. Temple images of Vishnu depicted him either sitting often in the company of his consorts, Lakshmi, also called Shri, and Bhumi Devi, Earth, standing holding various weapons or reclining on the coils, of the serpent Sessa, asleep on the cosmic ocean. During the period between the periodic annihilation and renewal of the world. But the standing of Vishnu is dressed in royal garments, holds in his fours and sometimes twos, hands in shankha or conch or, chakra, discuss, gada, club, or padam and lotus. On his chest is the curl of his hair, known as the Saravasta mark and sign of his immortality, and along from his neck, and he wears his obsequious jewel, the Costa Tupa, and painting. Vishnu usually shown in dark complexion, which is also distinguishing feature of his incarnations. Yeah, here we go. This is a male god, by the way, and here he goes. That's what you see. This is 1017 CE, 700 CE, 1100 CE. There he goes again. You got all these deities and things like that. This shit's old. You see him again. Yeah, that's the culture you're dealing with. Yeah. This is the culture. And here's Shiva, Queen of Shiva. This is the old Shiva that you see in Indian culture. Also spelled Swiva or Shiva. It spells Shiva. Yeah. It's SIWA and or SIVA or SHIVA that we all know, Shiva. One of the main deities of Hinduism, worshipped as the paramount lord by the Shaviti sects of India. Shiva, Sanskrit, Asupius one, is one of the most complex gods of India, embodying seamlessly contradictory qualities. He is both the destroyer and the restorer, great aesthetic, and the symbol of sensuality, and benevolent herdsman of the south, and the wrathful avenger. Though some of the combination of roles may be explained by Shiva's identification with earlier mythological figures, they also arrive from tendencies in Hinduism to combine complementary qualities in a single ambiguous figure. Yeah. Oh, it's a male god. My fault. Some people say Queen of Shit. Oh, I don't know what I said. Damn. Apologize for that. That's a male deity. That's deep. But a lot of people look at it, it's weird. All those arms and stuff. The Duga. Bro, yeah. These are wild, man. But that's the culture that you gotta study. But yeah, Shiva and all this stuff. Yeah, people worship this stuff, man. Like, wow. Shiva usually depicted in painting sculpture as a white or ash colored with blue neck. That's a god forming holding his throat, poison throwing up at the churning of the cosmetic ocean, which threatened to destroy humankind. His hair arranged in a coil of a matter of locks of a Jamakuta, and adorned with this a crescent moon with gangs. Genghis, according to Earth by allowing her tricks. Yeah. Oh, I can say Queen of shit. I don't know. I don't get into Hinduism. No disrespect, but the gods is kind of off on me. But hey, it's like I forget of the two. The statues just threw me off. But I'm gonna read it anyway. I'm not gonna stop because of the statue. Um the tricks and I'll say her to trickle through his hair, thus breaking her fall. He has the eye. He has three eyes. Oh, three eyes. Yep. And the third eye bestowing inward vision, but capable of burning destruction when focused outward. He wears a garland of skulls and a serpent around his neck and carries in his two, sometimes four, but hands a deer skin, a trident, a small hand drum, or a club with a skull at the end. Yeah. Shiva and Parvati. Yeah. It can be logically deduced by having two equal supreme gods, and Vishnu and Shiva, one black, one white, was attempted by the Aryans to encourage acceptance of the new Hindu religion by the ingenuous people. Yeah. Shiva represented a variety of forms in Pacific mood with his consorted Parvati and the son of Skanda as the cosmetic dancer of Nataraja, as a naked ascetic, as a mendicant beggar, as a youngin, and the androgynous union of Shiva and his consorted in one body, half male and half female. Yeah, that's what it is. Half male, half female. Oh, that was weird. Okay, I get it. Among his common epithets are Sambru or Benjanian or Sakra or Beneficent or Pacipate, or Lord of Beasts, Great Lord, or Great God. Okay. Shiva's female consort is known under the various manifestations as Uma, Sati, Parvati, Durga, and Kali. Shiva is also sometimes paired with the supreme goddess of Sakti and the divine couple together with their sons, and the six-headed Skanda and the elephant-headed Ganesia are said to dwell to the Mount Kalilasis. In the Himalayas, the Shiva mountain of the animal's image is the bull Nandi. And the scripture of Nandi sites opposite of the main sanctuary of every Shiva temple, and the temples and the private shrines. Shiva is worshipped in his fundamental form of the linga or phallus. Yeah. We ain't gonna get into Apple groups. Okay, I'm gonna give you this link in the chat. Y'all can read for your spare time, because if I shut the stream down, but I'm not for at the moment. I'm just gonna read more. What's going on, man? Salute. Let's see. I'm gonna give you that. Let's see what's going on in here. Okay, who is this? Okay, Jacob, Jacob, Grafton, Tamu, all combined fixed albino group. Yeah, you can read that for your own time. Scorn degenerate. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm doing the stream. Oh, damn, it's been an hour. Whew, I can't believe I talked this long. That's amazing. I talked this long. Yeah, that's what happens when you read. You read a lot of shit and you just go, hey, do what you gotta do. I did this in an hour. I know people's gonna be on at 9, so we'll see what Art's gonna do, because Indus Valley, and we're just gonna talk about it a little bit. Yeah, this is a lot of reading. Okay, here we go. Modern Pakistan, which is a part of India until 1947. Until 1947. Let's read that again. Modern Pakistan, which was a part of India. I did not know that. Well, actually, I did know that. Modern Pakistan, yeah, until 1947. So I've been knowing that. But he did some updates on this. Okay. My boy did this. Okay. When the last was left in Indus Valleys, Aryans from the Central Asian plains have invaded the valley, then expanded out in the rest of India. They also melded their religion's beliefs with local beliefs to form the Hindu religion. See, Hindu was man made by them. So you know how that goes. Later, the Aryans learned to write. However, some Brahmins considered it sacrilege to change from communicating their beliefs orally to putting them in written form. But a sufficient number of Brahmins supported this innovation, and they began to put traditional Aryan stories into writing. These writings became known as the Vedas. The Vedas, known as the Vedas, and Veda meaning wisdom. These Vedas became wisdom literature, a literature that would be considered as infallible source of timeless revealed truth. The most important of the Vedas was the Rig Veda, which consisted of hymns and or devotion devotional incantations written in 10 books. Okay. In the far northeast, Brahmins performed as teachers and gave instructions to the local original inhabitant elites who had not been completely Hinduized. These elites were accustomed to deference from local people, but they were offended by the posturing pride and arrogance of the Brahmins. They resisted the claims of the Brahmins to the higher rank and superior knowledge. Some among them opposed the bloodletting of Hindus' animal sacrifices. Some of them also thought the Brahmins to be involved in the ceremonial formalities and rituals, and saw the Brahmins in view of gods and salvations as strange. With the dissonant and against the orthodox Hinduism, as a variety of men with visions appeared, they've tried to fill the void left unfulfilled by Hinduism. But these new sect leaders denied the authority of the Vedas, and each developed a code of conduct and a way of living and thinking that would hopefully lead to enlightenment and fulfillment. Okay. So we got this people right here. This is the bills right here. Yeah. So, that's the peoples and things like that. That's the deities. The Jains. This movement was supported by the original inhabitants of the wealth influence who gave their support to one or another of these religious visionaries in their area. These new sect leaders wander across the Northeast, sometimes the large bands of followers. They enter the communities to engage in dissipations. Dissipations with rival sects and Orthodox Brahmins. These dissipations were welcome entertainment for local people. Unused thoughts, concepts from the outside world, but the most successful of the new sects were to those to attempt to provide relief from the Orthodox Hinduism's failure to alleviate human suffering. One such sect was the Jains, from the Sanskrit verb jay, meaning to conquer. The Jains sought the relief from suffering by conquest over one's own passions and senses. This conquest, they believed, gave one purity of the soul. But according to the legend, the Jains were led by Nataputa Brahmanya, the son of the royal governor from the Makaha region. Naputa Brahmanya gave up his princely status for a life of asceticism, and he became known as a Mahavira, the great souled one. Legend describes Mahavira's beginning as a reformer, as not seeking to overthrow the Hindu caste system or the worship of the Hindu gods, but wishing to do something about the misery that saw all around him. Legend describes him as having sympathy not only for people, but also for the animals that Brahmins sacrifice. Jain lay persons took the following vows: never to intentionally destroy a living thing, never to speak falsehood, never to steal, to always be faithful in marriage, to always to be cast out the caste outside of marriage, to poses no more money and or other things that one had set for oneself as sufficient. A practical restriction that varied with how wealthy one was, to travel no farther than the limits that one had to set far from himself or oneself, to think no evil thoughts about others, to sit to the meditation as often as one had planned, to spend the time as temporary a monk or nun, to support to the nuns and the monks with contributions. Yeah, so I'm gonna read on down. Hold on, I'll show you the pics. Here we go. Here goes the people. And here's the people. Yeah, we're gonna get into Buddhists in a minute. Hold on. I want to see this region and karma. Yeah, y'all can read this in your spare time. I'm gonna give y'all the link because I'm going to go on to the Buddhists. I ain't got much time to read all this. So, y'all do your thing. So yeah, as you can see here, pace and cease and desist. Yeah, so let's see what we got here. So let's see right here. Okay, let me check something real quick. I know people are scared to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. What's a break? All that stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna get into the Buddhists in a minute. I'm gonna check something real quick. And it's just wild right now. But yeah. Let's get this out of the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. 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 Let's see. Move this around a little bit. Give me a second. I'm gonna be on mute. Hold on. I'm back. Yeah, man. Let's see right here. Okay, processing. Yep. All right. I gave y'all the link, so I'm gonna get to the Buddhists right quick. This is another group. This is kind of like the Indian religion as well. This ain't Asian. This is kind of birthed all these religions, no matter what race. This is like one of these mixed religions. And they think Asians have Buddhism. No, this is a combination of a lot of Central Asian people, probably. Another who led a religious movement to relieve suffering was Prince named Sarahatra Ga Gatam yeah Tuma or something like that. I don't say Sahatra Gautama, later be known as the Buddha, great teacher. Sahatra was born into Sakya tribe at the foot of the Himalayan mountains. Oh, here we go. Just north of the Ganges Valley. Sahatra lived in a small city named Kali Vastu in what is now southern Nepal. Yeah, Nepal. Yeah, these are the Nepal people. So Nepal people, they could be they're Asian, but they're They could be Eastern, they Elam. So yeah, this is some good stuff. So we're talking about people from Nepal, the country. Yeah, this is their culture. What you would say, and we'll say that's a small city, but now known as Nepal, which is true. He is reported to have seen his native city overrun and its people butchered by the Aryans. But the Sakya tribe was under Aryan suzerainty, but had to retain its independence exchange for a tribute to pay the Aryan overlords. The Sakya tribe had aristocrats and commoners. According to legend, Sarhatra was a prince. According to legend, in his youth, Sarhatra has been sheltered from the ugliness and poverty all around him. But when he was 29, around 534 BCE, he decided to become a wanderer. Apparently, Sarhatra withdrew from the world that he saw was inhospitable to conquer royalty, such as he, though he was disturbed by the Aryans, and he was also fascinated by the Aryans people who had destroyed his state and its traditions. The legend created by his followers describes Sarhatra as having become a wanderer in order to learn about human existence. He became an ascetic, like asceticism, which they call aesthetic for short. Abused his body by hardly eating. After accepting failure in his quest to gain understanding of human existence, Sarhatra began eating better. He began devising what he believed were better solutions to human misery. Yeah, he was asceticist too. He was popular. Buddhism is part of that as well. I talk about asceticism too on this channel as well. That's a part of it. This is like asceticism right here. This is a great example right here. I'm glad I did the Indus Valley. You can see for what it is. Sarhatra agreed that the view and expression, the Upanishads, Upanishads that caused the human misery and was humanity itself. But he also was determined not to fall into what he saw as the era of those who sought salvation in philosophical speculations. But he refused to question or discuss whether the cosmos is finite or infinite, or whether there is life after death, or other such metaphysical questions. He refused to consider these questions on the grounds that these questions sidetrack people from doing something practical about the misery of their existence. He was a asceticist, that's why. And here you go, here's his build and Shiva part. Yeah, these are the statues, periods, medieval period. Yeah, it's a rough period, man. According to legend, Sarhatra became a master of the tenets of the practice of other sects, that many of his disciples was recruited after him, debated with religious rivals in towns gathering. Sarhatra preached no warnings of torments for evil deeds. Instead, he preached the attain of serenity or nirvana through self-discipline. Yeah, that's asceticism for you. That's what he's talking about. And here goes statues and bills and deities and things like that. People love this stuff. Politically, India followed man's normal course of kingdoms, rising and falling with almost constant warfare. However, there was one kingdom of particular note. Its kingdom found by Mafadama Nanda. The Nandas are universally described as being a low origin code for sutras. They are particularly noted because the northwestern part of India suffered a campaign by Alexander the Great in 327 BCE. I mentioned that in Egypt. Talked about the Alexander the Great. I mentioned the Egypt live stream. Y'all can check that one out. He was pursuing his campaign to conquer the extremes of the defeated Achaemenid Empire, have entered the Gandhara, and he campaigned successfully across to the Punjab as far as the Bees River. Here's his troops refused to continue fighting because they had encountered the army of the Nandas. Some historians suggest that Alexander's Greek soldiers may have may have immunity out of fear of this army. And that is so true because his army didn't conquer that. They was a tough group. The Greeks were weak. These people are deadly. The Nandis. I've heard something like that. They wow. It's the warrior, the warriors class. Yeah, the warriors class was no joke. I told you they're violent. Hindus were no joke. They're a beast. That's why India is dangerous. They're dangerous than the Arabs. That's why I don't worry about them. They can protect themselves. That's the only group that will be a future World War IV or Armageddon 2 war. Because they're going to be the toughest to knock off. That ain't easy. But as a people, they stick together. I give them that. So it's like it says, the warrior class, law ownership, yeah, laws of war. Yeah, Indians ain't no joke, man. You want to learn something? They're a tough crowd. It's only been an hour, so yeah. Salute, Doug. Salute. What's going on? So let's see what's up in here. Yeah, I'm giving y'all the things. I know everybody's in Laura Mills LBM nonsense, but I ain't worried about it. I know Rashawn's over there talking, but yeah. It's nice. They talk about Pimp C and things like that. Laws of war. When society becomes organized in a warrior caste, Casatricia came into being, it was felt that the members of this caste should be governed by certain human laws. The observance of which it was believed would take into the heaven, while their non-observance would lead them into hell. In the post-Vedic epoch, especially before the epics were reduced to writing, lawless war had been supplanted. And the code had begun to govern the waging of wars. And the ancient lawgivers to the reputed authors of the Dharma mantras and the Dharma Masatras codified the existing customs and usage for the betterment of mankind. But thus the law books and epics contain special sections on royal deities and duties of common warriors. It was generally ruled the king were chosen from among the Kshatriya caste. In other words, a non-Kshatriya was not qualified to be king. This is probably due to the fact that the Kshatriya's caste was considered superior to others in virtue of its material prowess. Though the warrior's code enjoins that all the Kshatriyas should die on the field of battle, still in practice many died in peaceful death. There is a definite ordinance of the ancient law books prohibiting the warrior caste from taking to asceticism. Because asceticism is self-discipline. I talked about this on 2 streams prior months ago and then recent last month. I think I had most men on the panel on that at that time. Okay. Actions of reunification is watchword of the Kshatriyas. The warrior was not generally allowed to don robes of an aesthetic, but Maraviras Gautama protests against these injections, and he inaugurated an order of the monks or the sannyasins. When these descending sects gather in the strength and numbers, decline of Kshatriya's valor set in. Once they were initiated into the life of the peaceful prayers, they preferred it to be horrors of war. This was diverse. This was a disservice that the setting of sects did to the cause of the ancient India. When Conqueror felt that he was a position to invade the foreigners of country, he sent an ambassador with the message, "Fight or submit." More than 5,000 years ago, India recognized that the person of the ambassador was inviolable. But this was a great service that the ancient Hinduism rendered to the cause of the international law. It was a religious force that invested the persons of the herald or ambassador with inviolable sanctity in the ancient world. But the Mahabharas rules the king of who killed an envoy would sink into hell with all his ministries. Megasthenes was Greek uh, ethnographer in the Hellenistic period, author of the work of Indica. He was born in Anatolia, modern Turkey, became the ambassador of the Siculus I of Syria to the court of Sandrocatus, and who was possibly the Chandragupta of Maurya and Pataliputra, India. However, the exact date of his embassy is uncertain. The scholars place it before 288 BCE, but the Maccathenians notice a peculiar trait of Indian warfare, whether among the other nations it is usual, but in contests of war, the ravaged the soil, thus reduced to it an uncultivated waste. Among the Indians, on the contrary, by whom husbandmen are regarded as a class that is sacred and inviolable, the the tillers of the soil, and even when in battle is raging in their neighborhood, are undisturbed by any of these sense of danger. For the combatants on either side and waging the conflict, making carnage of each other, but also those engaged in husbandry to remain quiet and unmolested. Besides, they never ravage an enemy's land with fire nor cut down its trees. Modern scorched earth policy was then unknown. Professor H. Wilson says the Hindu laws were very chivalrous, and humans are prohibited the slaying of the unarmed, of women, of the old, and the conquered. At the very time when a battle was going on, B says that the neighboring cultivators might be seen quietly pursuing their work, perhaps plunging, gathering for crops, pruning the trees, or reaping the harvest. Chinese pilgrim to Natalanda University, Hiran Tisang affirms that there were enough rivalries and wars in the 7th century CE. The country at large was a little injured by them. Yeah. So this is a piece. We talk about the Buddhas and laws of wars. So we're gonna get into this right here. Let's go to the Maurya Empire. Okay, Maurya Empire. The Nanda dynasty was overthrown in 322 BCE by the Chandragupta, the Maurya B, who founded the Maurya Empire, rapidly expanded his power westwards across central and western India, taking the advantage of the disruptions of the local powers in the wake of the withdrawal westward by Alexander the Great's Greek and Persian armies by 320 BCE. But the empire had fully occupied northwest India, defeating the satraps left by Alexander. So said to be a bust of this guy, Samuel Darachuta, right here. That's the bust right here. And here's Sandra Kaputa, the coin the second right here. This is the guy they're talking about. Gupta Empire, 300 to 500 CE right here. And here's the coin. So yeah, this is the bust of this guy right here. Different busts of the ruler, or whatever. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. So we're still on part 3 of the Indus Valley. Hope y'all enjoy this, but yeah, man, like I'm not even worried about what's going on today. So you know what I'm saying, like we in here. So yeah, man, I'm seeing what's going on. So this is wow. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna talk about this. And that's just what it is. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. Okay, it was the world's largest empire in this time, but at the great extent, the empire stretched to the north along the natural boundaries of the Himalayas, and to the east, stretching into what is now Assam. To the west, it reached beyond the modern Pakistan, annexing the Balochistan and much of what is now of Afghanistan, but including the modern Herat and Kandahar province. But the empire was expanded into India's central and southern regions by emperors of Chandragupta and Bindusara, but it was excluded a small portion of unexplored tribal and fortress regions near Kalinga, modern Orissa. Yep, it's the Indus Valley. Indus Valley was once upon a time what you call India and Afghanistan as one. That's what it was called, and you saw what happened. Maurya Empire, 300 BCE, right here. That's the empire. Maurya terracotta figurine. Maurya Empire, 300 BCE, another bust of the culture. They died off. I don't know what happened to. Under Santra Gupta, the Mauryan Empire conquered the Trans-Indus region, which was under the Macedonian rule. Chandragupta then defeated the invasion led by Cyclus I, the Greek general from Alexander's army. Under Sandragupta's and his successors, both internal and external and agricultural economic activities all thrive and expand across India thanks to the creation of a single efficient system of finance, administration, and security. After the Kalinga, after the Kalinga War, the empire experienced half century of peace and security under us. Asoka, India was prosperous and stable empire of a great economic power whose trade extended across Western and Central Asia and Europe. The Mauryan India also enjoyed an era of social harmony, religious transformation, and expansion of the sciences and knowledge. Sandragupta's Maurya's embrace of Jainism and increased social and religious renewal and reform across his society, and with Ashoka's um, embrace Buddhism was a foundation of the region of the social political peace, nonviolence across all of India. Ashoka's sponsored the spreading of Buddhist ideals into Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia, West Asia, and Mediterranean Europe. And the Maurya Empire dissolved in 185 BCE with the foundation of the Sungha dynasty in Magadha. Yeah. So here we go. We got the people right here. The Maurya goddess, 300 BCE is another one. Yeah. So ancient Indian cave artifacts. We're gonna go. If you want to get into the artifacts, we're gonna put the links in here if y'all want to get into this stuff. So I'll give you just the look up for your own time. Okay. I'm not tripping off of this stuff. So, I'm gonna give you the link to this just to show. So what's going on? Past $40 salute. What's going on, G's? Here we go. Because I know people is up and waiting. So get this on your own time. So take your time with this, and we're gonna get into it. So shouts out to people that's in here and all that. So That's what we have here. So I'm not worried what's up here. I'm just going to show y'all the links in this little stuff right here. Here we go. See, y'all can look at this in your own time, and I can tell you all day. That's the people and all this stuff. I gave you all that. So yeah, y'all can look at this in your own time, but take a chance to look, read, see the statues and the pics. Okay. Gupta Empire. Gupta Empire. So, check. Hold on for a minute. I think my boy Art's on. Might have to look at Shatterpoint in a minute. Um, yeah, yeah. We here and all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we're gonna get into it. So the Gupta Empire, we're gonna read this. I know this is a long one, but people got their own little preference and things like that, the community and all that stuff. So we already know what time it is. Oh, it's a lot of streams going on. It's a mess right now, so I'm not gonna even get involved with that. I might have to get involved in Third Ward's little stream. It's my boy Third Ward looking like he got 8 watching. Yes, it ain't that many. He's got 8 watching. But we're gonna see. Yeah, because I'm gonna move around and see the shadow point. But appreciate the person that's watching. Salute you for it. I'm gonna get this done. So I'm gonna see what's going on. Okay, the Gupta Empire existed from 320 to 500 CE and covered much of Indian subcontinent. It was founded by the Mahadria Syria Gupta. The dynasty was the model of the classical Indian civilization, but the people and prosperity inserted under leadership of the Guptas enabled the pursuit of scientific and artistic endeavors. This period is called the Golden Age of India, was marked by extensive inventions and discoveries in science and technology, engineering, art, dialectic, literature, logic, mathematics, astronomy, religion, and philosophy that was crystallized the elements of what is generally known as the Hindu culture. Sandra Gupta's the first and Samudra Gupta and Sandra Gupta the second was the most notable rulers of the Gupta dynasties. These are the people that the Gupta dynasty empire was, but you got the Mauryan Empire that afterwards died off. Here's the bust of them. Standing Buddha, Southern India, 800 CE, 500 CE on the other one. So here we go. The high points of this cultural creativity are magnificent agriculture structure. Sculptures and paintings in Gupta period produced scholars such as the Kalidasa, the area, the Bahata, and the Varamiria, and Vishnu Sarma and Vasa Sanyanya, who made great advancements in the many academic fields. Science and political administration reached new heights during the Gupta era. Strong trade ties also made the region an important culture center and set the region up as a base that would influence nearby kingdoms, regions in Burma, Sri Lanka, Malay Archipelago, and in Indochina. Yeah, here we go. Here's the people. Here's the thing. Krishna killing horse and demon. Kish, Gupta period. Standing Buddha offering, protecting 500 CE. So as you can see, the idol right here is showing you. Yeah, interesting, right? That's the culture that the people are into. And that's showing you that they were darker skinned people. Yeah, they good with different faces, but the earliest available Puranas are also thought to have been written around this period. But the empire gradually declined because of many factors like the substantial loss of territory, imperial authority caused by their own um, erstwhile feudal, feudatories in the invasion by the Huns, by the Huns or the White Huns Turks. They said the White Huns and Turks, right, from Central Asia. After the collapse of the Gupta's empire in the 6th century, India was again ruled by numerous regional kingdoms. Minor line of the Gupta's clan continued to rule the Magadha after the disintegration of the empire. These Guptas were ultimately ousted by the Varahana ruler of Harsha, who established an empire in the first half of the 7th century. Yeah, they've been conquested. No longer popular in the spite of the utility for hygiene and ease of use. What is now known as the Bantu knot and hairstyle can still be found in modern use. Yeah, they're trying talking about hygiene and things like that. Yeah, that's how those people were back then. Okay, Mughal Empire. Mughal Empire was or Mughal Empire. My fault, I pronounced it wrong. Mughal Empire. Okay, the Mughal Empire or Mughal Empire. It's spelled different. Okay, my fault. Was imperial power in the Indian subcontinent from about 1526 to 1757. The Mughal emperors were Muslims. A lot of people say Muslims were Muslims and direct descendants of the Mongol Genghis Khan. Here we go. Through Kagatai Khan, or some people call him Kabul or Khan, or Katia Khan, and Timur. At the height of their power in the late 17th and early 18th centuries, they controlled most of the subcontinent, extending from Bengal in the east of Balochistan in the west, Kashmir in the north of the Kaveri Basin in the south. Its population at the time had been estimated at between 11 110 and 150 million over the territory of more than 3.2 million square kilometers, 1.2 million square miles. Yeah, this is what we got here from here. Here's what we got right here, and this is an inscription. Memoirs of Bobby, yeah, the Muslim, yeah, the monk. I would say the Mughal or Mughal Emperor Akbar, yeah. Yeah, y'all can see it right here in this picture. Yeah, showing how the Muslims came in. But the classic period of the empire started in 1556 with the accession of Akbar the Great. Under his rule, India enjoyed much of the cultural, economic progress as well as religious harmony. Akbar was a successful warrior. He also forged a martial alliance with several Hindu Rajput kingdoms. Some Rajput kingdoms continue to pose significant threat to I'll say Mongol or Mongol dominance of the northwest India, but they were subdued by Akbar. In the region of Shah Jahan and the fifth emperor was the golden age of Mughal. My fault. They said Mughal. Yeah, Mughal dominance. Yeah, Mughal agriculture and the arts of he erect many splendid monuments, but the most famous of which are the legendary Taj Mahal at Agra, as well as the Pearl Mosque, the Red Fort, and Jama Masjid or Delhi, and the Lara Fort. Mongols were, of course, not an artistic people, so works art of building, and were, of course, done by local architects and artisans. Excuse me for that. By the mid 18th century, the Maras and as Indian warriors cast as ravaged in population. Oh man, I skipped over. Hold on. My fault. The Mughals empire reached about the zenith of its territory expansion during its reign of Aurangzeb during his lifetime. Victories in the south expanding in the Mongols empire. The Mongols empire to more than 1.25 million square miles, ruling over more than 150 million subjects, nearly one fourth of the world's population. By the mid 18th century, that the Marathas, or an Indian warrior caste, had ravaged the Moguls' provinces from the Deccan into the Bengal, and the internal dissatisfaction, as well as the separatist agendas from the Rajputs and Skis and Jats, arose due to the weakness of the empire's administration and economic systems. In 1739, a weakened Mughal empire was defeated in the Battle of Karnal by the forces of Nader Shah, making Mughal power severely limited. But the last emperor, Bahadur Salim II, had authority over only the city of Jahanabad he supported. But the Indian Rebellion of 1857 was overthrown by the British, and the last remnants of the empire were taken over by the British Raj. Yeah, that's what happened. Britain took over. You already know, the East Indian Company. Okay, the British Raj. The British Raj, meaning rule in Hindi, was the British rule in the Indian subcontinent between 1858, this is true, East Indian Company, in 1947. The term came referred to as a period of dominion and under the British control, include areas directly administered by the United Kingdom, which is facts, as well as the princely stated ruled by the individual rulers under the paramountcy of the British Crown. But the system of the governance was instituted in 1858 when the rule of the British East Indian Company, I just said it, British East Indian Company, was transferred to the crown in the persons of the Queen Victoria, which is true, and whose in 1878 was proclaimed Empress of India, and lasted until 1947 when the British Indian Empire was pardoned into two sovereign dominion states. But the Union of India, later the Republic of India, they call it the Republic of India now, and the Dominion of Pakistan, later the Islamic Republic of Pakistan now, the eastern half of which still later became the People's of Republic of Bangladesh. This is when Bangladesh was created, because all those countries were in Indus Valley at one time. It was all one until they split, and you see what happened. And at the inception of the Raj in 1858, the Lower Burma was already a part of British India. Upper Burma was added in 1886, the resulting union. Burma was administrated as a province until 1937, when it became a separate British colony, gaining its independence in 1948. So here you go. It's the people right here, the British part of them. And this is a rough period, man. Perhaps most of the important aspect of the British albino rule over India was to afford European albinos opportunity to further expand the world war against blacks into new venues. Note, this account of India was 1350. And the travels of Marco Polo, Italian explorer. You already know about him. I'm not going to get into that. Your Marco Polo. That's a lot of peace, He's not important in this subject because, they add this in here. Yeah, I'm going to show you the Indians people and, this stuff right here. The ski, the sky, whatever you want to call it. Okay. The Moguls. Webster's define Moguls as Indian Muslim or descended from one of several conquering groups of Mongol, Turkish, and Persian origin. That is correct. He said that is correct. There was no particular type of Mogul, but Arab, but should be added as they all came into India as a result of the victory of the Muslim Barbar, or some people say Berber or Barbar. I'll get into Moors tomorrow. The great grandson of Tamerlane, full mulatto Mongol ruler of Persia, whose whole murderer of Persia's original blacks. Barbar who on his mother's side was descended from the famous Genghis Khan, came to India in 1526 at the request of the Indian governor who sought Barbar's help in his fight against the Iberian Lodi, the last headed of the Delhi the Sultanate. Barbar defeated Lodi at the Panipat, not far from Delhi, so came to establish the Mughals Empire in India. Yep, here you go. We're going to see this right here. Portrait of Tipu Sultan, ruler of Mysore, by unknown Indian artist, 1792. Tipu Sultan was the greatest Indian of modern times. No, however, even copies the portrait are routinely lightened by the mulattoes. I mean, not by the mulattoes, but albinos. Okay, Mysore. The old Hindu state Mysore had passed into the hands of the Muslim military adventurer Hadiadar Ali Khan in 1762, but Hadiadar died in 1782, and his son Tipu took over the kingdom. The exact date that Hadiadar Ali's birth is not known with certainty, but the various historical sources provides dates ranging between 1717 and 1722 for his birth, but there are also some variations in the reports of his ancestry. According to some accounts, his grandfather was descended from a line of the Muslims tracing their lineage back to Persia, while another traces his lineage instead to the area of the present day Afghanistan, in a third count written by one of his French military officers, Hadiar himself claimed the descendants from the Quraysh and the tribe of the Arabs. But the tribe of the Prophet Muhammad, his father faith, Muhammad was born in Kolar, served as the commander of the 50th man bamboo or the rocket artillery, mainly used to singling the army of Nawab and Karnak. So yeah, I'll get into Tipu in a minute. So you know what I'm saying? Like, let's see who's in here now. So you know what I'm saying? Like, he said, I believe it was pronounced. Hold on for a minute. Hold on. He said Mogul. Yeah, Mogul. Yeah, I already said it. Mogul Empire. Yeah. Hold on for a minute. Let's see. I won't get to this part. I'll be back for a minute. Check on something. Hold on. All right. I'm back. Tipu Sultan, 1750, 1799, also known as the Tiger of Mysore, and Tipu Safid, was a ruler of the kingdom of Mysore and the scholar, soldier, and poet. Tipu was the eldest son of Sultan Hadiar Ali of Mysore and his wife Fatima Fakra on Nisia. Tipu introduced a number of administrative innovations during his rule, including his coinage, a new Malaludi lunasari calendar, and a new land revenue system, which initiate the growth of Mysore, the silk industry. Tipu expanded in iron and cast Mysorean rockets, wrote a military manual, and Fatu Mo- Moginian, considered a pioneer in the use of the rocket military. He deployed the rockets against the advance of the British forces and their allies in their 1792 to 1799 siege of the Ganapantinia. But the Napoleon, while still not emperor of the French, sought alliance with Tipu. Any alliance with the French in their struggle with the British and Mysore struggles with other surrounding powers, both Tipu and his father used their French trained army against the Mathras in Syria. And the rulers of Malabar, Kadagu, and Benor, or Konanik, or the the Travan Travancore, okay, Travancore, upon his father's death in 1782, Tipu's success to a large kingdom bordered by Krishna River in the north, but the Eastern Ghats in the east and the Arabian Sea in the west. He won important victories against the British in the Second Anglo-Mysore War. Negotiated in 1784 Treaty of the Mangalore with them after his father Hyder Ali suddenly died from cancer in December 1782 during the Second Anglo-Mysore War. Tipu engaged in the expansionist attacks against his neighbors. He remained an implacable enemy of the British East Indian Company, bringing them into renewed conflict with his attack on British ally Travancore in 1789. But in the Third Anglo-Mysore War, the Tipu was forced into humiliating treaty, losing a number of previously conquered territories, including Malabar and Mangalore. He sent embassies to fortress states, including to the Ottoman Turkey, Afghanistan, and France, in the attempt to rally opposition to the British. In the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, the combined forces of the British East Indian Company and the Nazim of Hyderabad defeated Tipu, and he was killed on the May 4th, 1799, while defending his fort of Syria, Ranjagapatina. Tipu's ambitious, apparently great, exceeded those of his father, and he is told actively to escape that all of pervasive shadow of Mogul's suzerainty. However, as in the Ski Kingdom and the Ranchit and skiing, and the problem with the Mazar of Haidar and the Tipu, what's their inability to build an internal consciousness. Their dependence on migrants and mercenaries for both military and physical and who deny Mysore's access to relatively rich agricultural lands. Parts of the Coromandel coastal plain. Eastern India. Equally, the significance of was hands of an English attacking force to Tipu finally was killed in 1799. So we got into that. So we're gonna build off of that right here. So they show you pictures that governs, how these people depict them in a portrait, and we're just gonna go on down. So yeah, you see these pictures going in and going in on fire. So the Sultans, the Muslims. So we ain't gonna get into that. And this to see, yeah, actually, in Assassin's Creed, they did a thing with him. The British East Indian Company. There's a character, Indian of the Punjab, Indian in Pakistan. There's a character in Assassin's Creed. If you play Assassin's Creed Syndicate, with this character, and then the DLC. That's a good DLC, and it's based off this guy right here. What he subscribes at the time, this is where India and Pakistan was kind of like almost unified. And before it was called, I think it was called Pakistan at the time, but it's when Islam was trying to come in, and Hindu has been around a long time. But if you go further back, the cultures we just read on this third Indus Valley, you would see that the cultures have shifted over the years. Conquest, wars, that all happens. It's part of nature. And then this is the type where they used to dress. Sandar Singh, yeah, these type of people. They don't exist anymore. They used to, but the Arabs done blotted their culture out. So you know what happened to these people. This is what they was back in the day. These were the people. I don't know if they still exist. I mean, they still have some of the culture, but it died off. It's still around, but certain cultures don't dress like that no more. Yeah, this is the last of the Indians. So yeah, if you want this information, I'm gonna put this in the chat so y'all can read on your spare time. But that's it with the Indus Valley. I'm gonna copy this and put this in the link. And yeah, it's been 2 hours. So yeah. Oh, what happened? Oh, my internet messed that up. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on over here. So yeah. It's been 2 hours. I'm gonna drop this down if anyone wants to come up. So, you know. And I did like it's 2 hours. So I read, yeah, it's a long read. So let's check in my chat room for a minute. I'm gonna pin this if anyone wants to come up. Let's see. This is it for the Indus Valley. This talks about Pakistan and India, damn near. The links are in the chat. You can read. I discussed what I read, and I did this. This is talk about India. And this is talking about India and Pakistan, modern India and Pakistan right here. This is the ancient history of it. Indus Valley, that's what it's called, those people. And they basically got wiped out or whatever. I already did the Etrusia, the Etruscans of Italy. So I don't know if I want to do this again, but it's not that much. Etrusia or Etruscans or something like that. I don't know how this is going to be. So, you know, I'm skimming through right now. If you want to talk about Mediterranean race and all that. So please note the study and the traits. We did the Indus Valley. I'll put the links in the chat. I'm just skimming through what I'm looking for topics, future wise. I'm trying to see, and then they go Central Asia. Trushka. I think I did this before. They show you, yeah, and the pictures and all that stuff. Brittany in France. Yeah. All right. Oh God. They had a lot of stuff in here. Yeah, Etrushka. You got the real history of the Malta, the island. The Phoenicians. Yeah, the Phoenicians and all that. The Hannibal history. Okay. So I'm gonna start off now. The Hannibal history is separate. I'm gonna put this in my favorites. I'm gonna put this in my other bookmarks because Hannibal is a tricky one. He's a tricky one. He's a subject for another day. So I'm just showing you what's going on, but I know people is doing a thing. But I'll do Hannibal next week, but I will do the Moors tomorrow. You're gonna get some content on that. The Etruscans. Some people pronounce them Etruscans. So we're gonna get into. I'll do a piece on the Etruscans. We're gonna get into it. I think this needs to be revisited. I think I did one with the Etruscans. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me see in my catalog of live streams. I'm gonna see if we did it. If we don't, we're gonna add it. We're gonna add a future live stream to it because everybody's streaming right now. Because I know. Tuesday talk with Melody. God damn, everybody's streaming. Golly, they lit. I gotta check out the troll guy. Someone said it's slim. They're trying to say that about Psycho Candy and about Let's See. That's a child. If y'all notice, that's a child. I don't know if y'all dudes are flirting, but that's a child. But you know, yeah, it's irrelevant for the topic. But let me look at here real quick. Get off of YouTube for a minute. So yeah, this is pretty decent. But yeah, let me check in my lives that I've done. Yes, Indus Valley is great. It's a lot of views. I know I'm gonna get a lot of playback. So yeah, if y'all want, I will say I did Canaan, I did Egypt, I did Egypt, I did Egypt. Black civilizations. Let me look at my catalog because this is before I even had the proper gear. Egypt and Sumer, I did that. Black civilizations. I did Eastern Europe, did Anatolia, Etruska, Etrusia or Etruscans. Etrusia. That's in Italy, by the way. Okay. Oh, Egypt. Yeah, that's a long one. No one give me a dislike, but I don't give a fuck. Okay, we're gonna do. Okay, let me schedule something. We're gonna do since we since we're doing the Indus Valley. I'm gonna stop it right here, Etrusia. So yeah, since no one's coming up, it's 2 hours, and I'm gonna see I'm gonna end this real quick and look at my world history, my little thing. Yeah, how many is Etruska? That's a long reading. That's a long reading. Um Invasion of Latin and things like that. That's gonna be a short stream or it's a long one because I'm gonna skim through what's what. So yeah, we're gonna get into this one right here. Cassettes and the Gauls and yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get into this. Oh, this is the Moors. Okay, hold on. Okay, we're gonna do this tomorrow. We're gonna start with Etruscans. I'm gonna mix it with history. Hold on. So tomorrow we're gonna do how about this? We're gonna talk about Italy. We're gonna start with Etrusia history. Um with the Moors. The Moors gonna be a long stream. That's gonna be the longest stream I've ever done. That is gonna be on a Wednesday. So we're talking about the Etruscan people. Etruscans, they would say Etrusia to Etruscan people. We're gonna give you a preview. But see, the Indus Valley, we talked about Pakistan, but I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do tomorrow. But I'm gonna skim through it and get to know what the history is gonna be about. So we're gonna skim through the first part and they show you the bones and stuff. I'll give y'all the link so you can read this whole thing for yourself. Because when we get to the bottom, we're gonna get to this Malti, the real history, how it starts, the island, and this is going to we're gonna structure it right. So it's the Phoenicians and things like that, and then Hannibal. That's a whole nother subject. Um, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. So, so it happens in Italy. Okay, the Etruscans. Yeah, we're gonna get to this. The Moors. I'm gonna add Phoenicians and the whole thing. The Etruscans. Might have to add this piece right here because this piece, this is important. And because when we get into Charlemagne and things like that, because the Moors, it's complex, and then we're going to get into Germany, Britain. We're going to add this to this as well. I'm going to put some links. I'm going to restructure something, so y'all bear with me. What we're going to add tomorrow, it's going to be very. This is going to be probably the longest stream I've ever done. It's Wednesday. That may not be an open panel, but if y'all want to get on the panel right now, I suggest you do so now because tomorrow I may not open that one up. I'm just going to have to drop links and things like that because tomorrow I'm just going to add some descriptions. I'm going to edit it a little bit. Moors. And I'm just going to have basically have my thing in. So I'm going to go like this. And the rest of on say hold on. Etruria to the Moors. So yeah, this is gonna start around this time, 8:15. So I add that in the description. Yeah, this is that's gonna be it. Yeah, we're gonna add that piece. So what's going on, Pepe the Frog? So look, yeah. So we're gonna add that. We're gonna add that piece. So this will be tomorrow. We're gonna add Etruscans first. It's got a lot of Moorish history, and we're gonna stop. It's gonna be a long read. I'm gonna skim through some things. I'm not gonna read a whole lot of the first half. I'm gonna stick with the Etruscans and things like that. If I see the Phoenicians, I will do Hannibal next week. I know Black Mediterranean, that's too easy because I think we did that already. It's no need because if you get into that, you already know. And Black Mediterranean and Persian and all that stuff. We already know the Hoplites. I already did a piece on that. That's too easy. Black Mediterranean. It's so much vast on this website. It's a lot of fucking content I can do on this. Shouts to this guy with the website and the scholar for doing this. I co-sign him and shouts out to him. Give him some love. And I know you appreciate me doing this on YouTube because most people need it. This is information. Hawaii. I will never do this one. Are called Polynesians. That's what they say. That's a whole nother topic right here. The Polynesian people. This is a whole nother topic. This is a whole nother topic. I'll do a future. That's a future topic for next month. The Hawaiians, I'll do a piece on that. It's not fun to talk about, but it's something to talk about. It's got a lot of stuff. A lot of people just gonna have to get over it. You know, Hawaiians, I have no issues with y'all or the people, but I'll talk about y'all next. The Australians, the Polynesians, I will talk about them next month. That's a promise. This right here, and that's the last piece. I'm gonna talk about them Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. No, I will not talk about them because to me it's irrelevant because y'all can look at these for yourself or the whole website. I can discuss Indonesia all day. It's a lot of content I can do. These are too easy. It's a lot of reading, and I'm not going to get into it. North America, same thing. Anything America, I'm not messing with. The only one I would probably mess with would be South America and Hawaii, and then you got the All Max and things like that. But a lot of this, they already done it on YouTube. It's a lot of people have done it, but I'm gonna stick with Hawaii. I'm gonna stick with the people of Hawaii. This is a future video, probably from the fall. I may do somewhere October or something like that. I'll do something like that, right? And think about it. So yeah, I am done with the Indus Valley. I talked about Pakistan and the Indus Valley and the history and all of that. So yeah, if y'all want to come up and chill, that's cool. But that's the thing for me. So yeah. Yeah, this stream is like 2 hours and 15 minutes and 16 seconds. Yeah, I read a long time. So I've been on here for 2 hours. So it's a good thing to get to know and whatever is dealing with. So yeah, I'm good over here. I'm gonna take this. Yeah, I'm gonna take this down. Not take this down. I'm gonna keep this up. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this charge off. Yeah, the phone and all that. Yeah. So y'all good. It's 10:26. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm itching to do the Etruscans and just do half. Because I already did the Indus Valley. This is the name of the title. So yeah, I'm gonna have to shut this down. Yeah, I'm gonna have to shut it down because I'll do I might have to do I'll think of something. I'll think of something. Because it's too early. It's like 10 something. God damn. Because I know BGS will be on. Because I know my boys will be on. So we'll see. Y'all can like the video, whatever. I mean, like the stream, and just, share it with your peoples. And yeah, I'll discuss what I'm gonna do tomorrow about the Etruscans and the Etruscans and things like that. I'll get into that later. So with that, I want to say peace and shalom.